Welcome to episode 5 of the Boxing Podcast. I'm Garrity McOsker.
And I'm Trevor Sombrano.
And today on the show we have from Midland, Texas, Michael Dutchover. How you doing today?
Great. Thank you for having me. Let's get into it.
Thanks for coming. Yeah, thanks for coming on the show, man. I see you're repping your. It must be Sunday. You're repping your Cowboys jersey.
Yeah.
Forever, even though you're not in season. We always got that. It's part of the ritual, huh?
Yeah, just part of. I'm a diehard Dallas fan. I love football. And just part of it.
So I want to talk a little bit about first where you came from. You're from Midland. Tell us a little bit about Midland. We don't know much about the place. We met in Southern California at Danny Zamora's gym in Santa Fe Springs. How did you go from Midland, Texas, to make your way into this Southern California boxing scene? And how did you meet Danny and all those sort of things?
All right, I could take like 30 minutes on this. I'm gonna make this as short as possible. But okay, I grew up in Midland, Texas, born and raised Midland, Texas, West Texas, and I started my amateur boxing career when I was 8 or 9 years old. Had my first fight, and I stayed consistent with it all through elementary, junior high, and high school. And through a mutual friend, I had met my trainer now, Danny Zamora, and I think my junior year in high school, I met him at a Sean Estrada fight actually in Dallas, Texas. They took me out there. I met him, got in contact with my trainer now, and just 2 and 2 put together. And then I spent my junior year. I came out to train in Southern California. Right. Kind of the boxing hotspot to see what I was really made of, and I kept a love for the sport, and I spent the whole summer after my junior year training with Danny Zamora, and he at that time he was training Darley Perez, which was a former WBA lightweight world champion.
Right.
And so I got to see what a world champion lives like, living with it, seeing that at a young age. And it was just motivation to me. And I went back, Danny said he was like this kid, and we kept in touch. He wanted me to finish high school. Obviously I did. I finished high school, and that was my first goal, was to turn pro. I did as much as I could do in my amateur career. I made it to the Olympic qualifiers, got a bronze medal, and that was for the 2016 Olympics. And so that was there's no point in waiting until 2020 again to try it again. Yeah. And so as soon as I graduated, made the commitment to come out here to Southern California just to better myself, learn more about the professional game, and and you got
off to a fast start. A little over 2 years you've been out here, and you're 12-0.
12 fights, 12-0, 9 knockouts. And
what's that like with you're fighting under Thompson Boxing and Banner Promotions?
Thompson and Banner Promotions, signed with them, and looking forward to. I've had a good start in my career. Looking forward to just getting more exposure this year, and getting bigger and better things.
We're excited for it, man.
Is it true that you came here a week after you graduated from high school?
Yeah,
that's true. Yes.
I remember. I admit, being from Midland, there's not much. People have heard of. Not much people have heard about Midland, Texas. So I knew if I was gonna stay there the whole summer, you get caught up, hanging with friends, girls, and so I was as soon as I graduated, had my graduation party, and then I shot off 1 week away and took off to.
Had that mindset.
Yeah, I had that mindset. I was I know what I wanted to do, and it's kind of like how everybody goes off to college. This was like my college of boxing. And,
right.
I just made the commitment.
Gym, yeah.
Made the commitment to the gym, and I feel like it paid off, and it's still paying off. I'm still in the gym working hard.
How's your freshman year roommate? Treating you all right?
Great. Yeah. Yeah, and so...
camp at the Zamora family complex.
Zamora camp, shout out to Joe Angel. I live with Joe Angel, that's Danny's brother. And my nana, that's Danny's mom. I call her my nana, and Javi, everybody there. I have a second family here now, and so I've gotten used to it. And, my family, all of my family and supporters are back home in Midland, but, I've made a family here also, and made fans from my fights, and so I'm just excited for the future.
Yeah, I see just articles on the internet and whatnot of people from Midland rallying behind you, and there's a lot of Texas pride that's attached to your fights. So as your career gets bigger, and we'll see what happens with Thompson Boxing and their TV deals moving forward. But I'm gonna guess that there's gonna be a lot more TV exposure as I believe Showtime and Thompson Boxing might have something under wraps. But that's gonna be huge for you because we're gonna have you already have kind of a growing fan base in 2 locations.
Yeah.
And it's exciting, man.
Yeah, that's the big deal. And one of my other stable mates, Ruben Villa, who is also managed by my manager Danny Zamora, he had just fought on Showbox in January. So that just shows the direction that we're going in. And so
it's a good camp. You 3. Danny's got the 3 pros. He's got you, Ruben Villa, and Ruben Torres, right?
Yeah, right now.
Training must be amazing. You got great sparring. You want to talk a little bit about what that's like being in a small stable with those guys?
It's great. We get great sparring, great working. To me, that's why I'm here. And not in Midland. Where I could be with my family. And I'm making a commitment over here to train and better myself. And the sparring is great. I've sparred with world champions already, at the young age of when I was 19, 20 years old, and so I'm getting experience like that, world championship experience.
With Darles, right?
Yeah, Darles.
Talk about some of the fighters you sparred with from...
Darles Perez, Peter Petrov was a title contender. I sparred Oscar Valdez. I was in a camp with him.
Oh, yeah. So I heard that you were... Oscar Valdez is running people out of camp, but you were there
for the long haul, right? For the long haul. They liked my work, so they kept me there. Jason Magdaleno, Fabian Maidana. I've sparred with him also. Maidana's brother. And, the list kind of goes on and on. I'm getting great.
Getting that great
I'm getting great work.
Getting the right looks to be able to develop your craft on your way up.
Different looks and everything, so I'm seeing
all those guys have to... Magdaleno obviously can be elusive, he can box. Oscar,
lefty. Probably the best lefty I can spar.
Valdez is the same thing. He can kind of do it all, And then there's someone like Maidana, I imagine, there's a lot of pressure. So.
So... a whole bunch of different looks, and so that way, whenever I'm in the ring, it's nothing I'm not accustomed to.
Do the people back home in Midland that you grew up as far as in your boxing community, are they kind of tripping that you're getting such great work out here in Southern California?
Well, to me, every time I go back to Midland, the love and support is just great. I go back and in Midland, I have a good little name out there now, and people see me. And they're rooting for me, and they know why I'm here. They know I'm here, working hard and getting the best training that I can. Yeah. And so they understand that that's the reason why I'm over here, and I want to bring a championship belt back to Midland, and something that's never been done before.
Now, are you excited about the fight with Earl and Mikey being and Mikey obviously being at the Cowboy Stadium, right?
Yeah.
Is it something that you might see yourself doing in the future? Or?
That's the ultimate goal, especially to me, I just want a fight back in Texas. So far, hopefully within the next couple of years that'll happen. But then or if I get to sell out the Cowboy Stadium at one day, that's a dream come true, man.
So I'd heard that the Cowboys had gotten behind you a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, well, everybody knows I'm a big Dallas fan. I've fought in a couple of uniforms like that, and got some good reactions to that. So
okay, yeah.
We know Midland's rallying behind you, but as your career grows, hopefully, even Dallas will get the opportunity to fight in Jerry's World like these guys are next week. Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah, it's gonna be so excited fight. For that.
Big fight.
What's your take? We've been asking everybody that's been coming in because there's such a big fight on the horizon, which is Earl and Mikey. So how do you see that fight playing out?
My take is Spence with the win. I think all credit to Mikey Garcia. He's doing something. People at 47 are ducking Earl. You know what I'm saying? And Mikey's true 35-pounder. And Mikey has all the skill in the world. But I'm Spencer from Texas. I'm going for the Texas man. But it's gonna be a great fight. For boxing fans.
Were you running across Spence when you were younger? Or you guys
I've seen him a couple times, especially at amateur tournaments when I was growing up. And I was little, he was old. I remember seeing him at I believe, national pals and some of the Olympic qualifying tournaments for the, and because he was on the Olympics and.
He's in the 16 team, right?
Yeah, I think
No,
12
team.
12. Yeah, and so I saw him whenever
sorry.
fighting during those amateur tournaments. You know?
When you mentioned the 2016 you bronze medal in the Olympic qualifiers, right? What was your take on AIBA taking away the headgear? I don't think that for the general audience to know the amateurs are fighting with no headgear during the nationals.
Yeah.
In the elite level
and on the elite level.
World
Yeah,
tournaments.
And definitely for the Olympic team.
and during my Olympic qualifiers, that was actually the first year that they have done that, and so I had already fought 4 or 5 times without a headgear going into the pros, and it was funny. Actually, my first or second fight, I got a headbutt, because we're amateurs, you're not accustomed to stuff like that happening, always fighting with the headgear, and I still had to fight the next day with a big old bruise and everything, and I had to get through it, and so after that, I had got a bronze medal, like I mentioned, and after that, I was just like, I'd rather get paid for this.
I think that's a general consensus with everybody. If you have a fighter out there, you're it's dangerous. Getting cuts and
especially in amateurs, you fight day after day.
Yeah, that's why the whole new AIBA thing doesn't make sense, because we've all seen these circumstances where a fighter wins his fight, is supposed to move on to the tournament, but then he's medically ineligible because his cut's too large. It just doesn't work in the amateurs when you have a fight every day for 4 or 5 days. So I think they went in the wrong direction on that, but we know that behind that there's been a push in the powers that be of AIBA that to take over more.
Yeah, I think with AIBA too, they're not.
There's more hybrid. Yeah. They have more hybrid boxing pro-am ambitions, and they want to take control of some pro boxing.
It's also acknowledgement, I suspect, on their part that most of the guys that have been winning the Olympics don't become stars, and that's just in pro boxing. Yeah. So that the style that they were awarding, it wasn't a style that is translating over to the pros. Yeah. With your career as an amateur, as far as judges and stuff like that, I know a lot of fighters aren't getting, to even to talk to somebody that was a bronze medalist, to know that obviously you're one of the guys. Did you ever feel like you were perhaps not getting a good look or?
Yeah, I mean, I knew, especially in the amateur boxing scene, there's a lot of politics that play into it. There's, guys that they want to see in the championship fights, guys that have big, that are known, and so I knew that, and me, even as an amateur, I had more of a pro style than an amateur style, stick and move. Yeah, you. And, and I feel like that helped me a little bit adjust to the pro style now. But yeah, that's just part of boxing, man. They have their, especially in the amateurs, they have their the guys that they want to see win. Some of the guys from small towns, they might not want to see in the big championship fight. So
we've all heard that Texas is a hard place to fight. If you're a Californian going over to Texas, in the amateurs, what's the politics like between judges? Is there like, being from a small town, you think you're going to get a tougher look against someone from a city, depending on where the tournament's at? Do you have any experience in that regard?
I mean, yeah, I have. In my amateur career, I was robbed a couple of times, to be frank about it, and but it just comes with the game, and you learn from that, and not to let losses get down on you. You just keep training.
Did you have a lot of stoppages like you do as a pro?
I had a couple stoppages, and I can't name the exact number, but
yeah, you were stopping people as an amateur too. Yeah. So what did it feel like to put on the small gloves and making that transition over? Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy to talk about, but there's a big difference from 10-ounce gloves to 8-ounce gloves.
Right.
For listeners and viewers, in the program, you move up to slimmer glove. It's a more dangerous scenario. You have less protection.
The wrap too.
The wrap's a lot different.
The wrap's a lot different.
In amateur gloves, there's more padding. Put on some pro gloves. You feel like
some rocks.
I've always said, like, when I first put on those gloves, man, I feel like toy gloves. Like something you can give to your kids and play around with.
You're able to navigate any bad judging now as a pro, because I mean 9 knockouts with 12 fights.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't like the fights to leave it in the judges' hands.
Yeah, which is we see more and more judges that are. I mean, I think for the most part, majority of them probably never came from a boxing background, and they're judging fights.
Yeah, and that's one of my personal opinions, and you still see it today in professionals, amateurs, pretty much a lot of sports. Judging to me, it's a big criteria for the sport. You should have the right judging, the fair judging, and it doesn't matter where the guy's from or whatever. But I've always thought that judges should, especially in boxing, should have either been an amateur boxer or a former pro boxer. They know what it's like to be in the ring, because you get some judges that haven't even never laced up a pair of gloves, and they're like, how can they judge a fight?
Yeah,
especially if it's a close fight. So
you got to wonder whether or not some of the things that we're seeing as far as the world competitions are concerned with our Olympic boxers not doing that well. If we're not to judge anybody that makes the Olympic team, maybe we're not rewarding or sending the right guys over because of sort of biases like this that might exist in the USA boxing judging criteria.
We all know there's a disincentive when some of our top talent decides I'd rather get paid. So just by the very fact of people responding to the incentives of the world, you are gonna get some of the guys that we wish had taken home gold medals decided not to go to the Olympics, or so.
Yeah.
What fighters were you looking up to when you were coming up? Is there anybody that you particularly that you liked their style, or?
When I was growing up, what made me fall in love with boxing was Miguel Cotto.
Oh yeah.
I love watching Miguel Cotto, and I even remember I went bald a couple times.
You got some Miguel Cotto in you, though. You know that?
I mean, it might be because I watched him so much, but I like watching Miguel Cotto as a kid, and that was pretty much the guy I looked up to.
I can see it. You're sturdy when you're in a high guard. You dare someone to throw.
Yeah.
That makes
just because I
was the left foot counter that you do off of a high guard. I could see that Miguel Cotto. You're a very sturdy young man, and what I mean by that for the listeners is that you settle down, your feet are there, and you're ready to fire, ready to counter. Kind of like another guy that reminds me of that is like Danny Garcia. Like he dares you to throw a punch at him in that high guard.
Yeah.
Cotto, what's your favorite Cotto fight?
Oh man, honestly, my favorite fight is Miguel Cotto versus Ricardo Torres.
Oh yeah.
That was a fight. If you haven't seen that fight, go look it up and watch. I guarantee it'll make you love boxing.
Well, Miguel when he was smaller, he was that pop that he was carrying. He was devastating.
It sure was.
Do you have any fight prospects coming up, or what is your manager telling you as far as the next thing on schedule for Michael Dutchover?
Right now, we're looking at a fight in April. No set dates yet, but we're getting ready for April, if not May. We're ready for this year. I came back right after Christmas and been here since January, so I'm just staying in the gym, staying busy, staying ready for whenever I get that call.
Good. Yep. And they've been keeping you busy. I mean, you fighting 5 times a year, so we're expecting something soon. You want tell the listeners a little bit about what your training regimen's like. You were explaining to me earlier the multiple coaches and multiple gyms you go to.
Yeah. Okay. Mondays, Wednesdays, I spar 3 days out of the week at Legends Boxing. We're there in the morning at 10 o'clock in the morning. After that, on those days, I do strength and conditioning training also with my coach Jerry, Titan Edge Athletics. It's been just great improvement to my boxing conditioning, strength and all that, and great facility at Titan Edge Athletics in Whittier. Yeah. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, we still get our long runs in, and training at the gym also in Santa Fe Springs, Los Nietos gym over there, and working with my coach Danny, Javi Gomez. Also, we have 3 coaches. Coach Danny, my Javier Gomez, and Coach Jerry, our strength and conditioning coach. And we stay busy. Saturdays we also have a strength and conditioning session, and
Yeah, I've been seeing the video content that Titan Edge has been putting out, and it looks like a really good program. I think that a lot of times, we've talked about this, Trevor, is that sometimes the sports science in boxing is behind. The training methods are sometimes there are coaches out there that don't necessarily think outside of the box. But I've been seeing for months, maybe a year or two, I've been seeing you know, the workouts they put you through on the videos that you guys post on social media and stuff. And it looks like a great setup. Really kind of taking a wider approach to boxing and building strength in things that aren't the punching bag only and aren't, you know, sledgehammer.
You physically feel stronger from this. Obviously, it has to be random. I would imagine that you're not coming across this in Texas.
No.
And so now that you have a camp that does involve a strength and conditioning program, you feel better when you're getting to the fights.
I do. I definitely do. You know, mentally and physically, just knowing that I have that edge. You know, and
the Titan edge.
The Titan edge. I got that Titan edge. No, but yeah, I do. You know, because training is hard, man, and to me, I mean, it's not the same thing every day. You know, something different. You know, different looks, and that's what you see in the fights. You know, you see different stuff. You can't get used to the same things I see, and you know, I love it. I love that training. Nothing but hard work.
Yeah, that's good, because I mean, sometimes boxing workouts become monotonous, so it's good to have that mix. Confuse the muscles, get it doing. You know, like we said, we need new looks all the time in sparring. You also need new muscle groups, new surprises for your body.
You can only skip rope, shadow box. I mean, these things are all important.
Yeah.
But when you're doing them 5 to 6 days a week.
Yeah, it's just so conventional, you know, to me. There's no need to just stay leveled, you know, when I feel like we're progressing, you know, because we're training camps are never the same. You know, they're different, you know, harder, always hard. You know, we train smart and hard, you know, not just the conventional, just work, not just like run box. You know, we're doing extra stuff that we need.
Now, your background, are you Mexican American?
Mexican American, yeah.
Yeah, so and when I saw your last name, how did you get the Dutchover last name?
I always get that question, man.
Yeah.
It's a long story, but my last name, it has Belgian roots. It comes from Belgium. My father, he took his he got it legally changed to his mom's last name. Because, you know, he didn't know his real genetic dad. And, you know, my genetic last name would be Garza. You know, before we took it, but he legally changed it to Dutchover. You know, we live by that name. You know, so love that name. You know, all the Dutchovers out there. You know, not many people.
You got a new fan base.
Hey, you got a fan base in Belgium.
Midland,
you got Midland and Brussels and Belgium.
Yeah, and it was funny, man. Especially in the amateurs. You know, you always see the brackets come out.
Right.
And you know, a lot of people see my
name. There's some kid probably going,
they're all,
I got a white boy, sweet.
Like,
you see you come up like,
I got a white boy.
They'll see Dutchover.
I got the easy work.
That's exactly what it was. They'll see Dutchover and say, like, all right, I got this. And then
Michael too, you know.
Michael Dutchover.
Right.
And then when they get in the ring, you know, it's a whole different story.
Yeah, that was something. When I saw your name, I was like, well, you know, obviously, then I was watching your fights on YouTube. I said, he doesn't look like a Michael Dutchover.
Yeah, a Dutchover sounds like a soft name, you know.
Yeah. But hey, listen, with 9 knockouts, it's not it's not a soft name at all. As far as getting down here to Southern California and seeing the different gyms that we have, you know, you mentioned that you've been to Legends. I imagine you've been to Maywood. I imagine you know, Elite Pro and so forth. Something that I like to ask fighters that are new to Southern California gym culture, is it everything that you sort of heard about? And
yeah, I mean, especially over here, there's no champs in the gym. You know, if you come in, you can have an off day and have a young prospect come there and, you know, give you that work. You know, because in the gym there's guys that are hungry and, you know, keeps you on your P's and Q's, and you have to be. And so that was the biggest difference that I've seen, especially growing up. You know, being from Midland, Texas. You know, there's not much sparring, just hardly to none sparring over there.
Yeah, you travel for sparring.
Yeah, all through my amateur career, you know, my big brother Junior Dutcher was training me, and also with Frank Lujan, they would train me. As my amateurs, I was still in school, you know, so I couldn't travel during the week. But every Saturday morning, we'd wake up early, drive to either Dallas or San Antonio, you know, the big cities that have more gyms, just to get sparring for 1 week, for 1 day out of the week. And then we'll spar and then drive back home. So that's a 5 hours, 6 hour drive just to get some work. And, you know, that was just part of the sacrifice and commitment, and that got me seen as an amateur to where I'm now as a pro. So it pays off. All of the mileage and gas.
Yeah, exactly.
Texas is
the
big,
miles,
man.
the miles you put on the road
Yeah.
too. So it's
Yeah.
That's one way to think about it. You know, you're mapping your boxing career in mileage. I never thought about that until now, but yeah.
I'm sorry. Where do you see yourself in 2 years?
In 2 years, I see myself fighting for titles. So fighting for titles, I know I'll be in the top 10 rank in my division. You know, fighting and getting up there to that elite level.
Any fighters that you look at and you say, man, I hope that we run across each other one day, or?
I mean, just that's part of the sport. You know, a lot of the generation that I grew up in, we're becoming the top of the line. You know, me, Haney, Virgil Ortiz, Teofimo Lopez, all of these guys. I grew up fighting with these guys in the amateurs. Mm-hmm. You know, and so I can see like the future of boxing is bright.
Yeah.
And so those are going to be the big fights now.
What about Ryan Garcia? Have you ever come
Ryan Garcia, yeah, we sparred a couple of times. Yeah. We never fought in the amateurs, but I noticed
your guys' fight cards. You guys have had some of the similar opponents.
Yeah.
In fact, because I worked as a matchmaker, one of your opponents I know very well because I've matchmade for him several times.
Really?
Yeah. So I just kind of one of those interesting things about Southern California boxing community where it's like, okay, oh, he fought this guy, and kind of use it as a metric for the other guys. So it's interesting to see, you know, some of the fighters that we hope to see you face down the road have kind of had
the same opponents.
Yeah. So it's good. It's resume building.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Well, like you said, it's an exciting time. You got all this young talent. There seems to be a transition that's going on between fighters that have been established now for probably the last decade, if not 5 or 6 years, and this like Lopez and Danny or Devin Haney. What other young men do you know that are coming up that you're pretty high on right now?
Virgil Ortiz, me and him go way back. We're actually on the same Golden Glove boxing team for Texas. And we represented he represented 40, I represented 32, and we were on the same team. Me and him grew up in the amateur scene.
Could you explain that for the viewers and listeners? Because I think the brand name of Golden Gloves is well known, but some people often get misunderstand that if you win the regionals,
everybody's grandfather
won the Golden Gloves. Your grandfather won the regionals, perhaps, or second. But go through the steps.
Okay.
Tell people the steps and what it really means to be a Golden Gloves champion.
Yeah.
Let us know.
You're not a Golden Glove champion until you make it to nationals. And to me, through Texas is big.
Where do you start?
I had to fight in a regional thing in Texas to make it to state. At state, I had to fight 4 times to get out of Texas to be Texas state championship. And then your state you represent your state in your weight category at the nationals. And that's national Golden Gloves, and that's all these states fighting against each other. And everybody, it seems like if you win, and I've seen it myself. They win one fight in a Golden Glove tournament and say they're Golden Glove champion, but you're not really.
Especially on social media these days.
Yeah.
Golden Glove champion of the Golden Glove brand name tournament.
Of your LBC.
But your LBC.
Your local boxing club.
And you just laugh and stuff like that. And my first time, I was 16, I believe, when I first fought in Golden Gloves, and that's when I started fighting grown men. And that was my first year, and I made it to Golden Glove Nationals, and I came in second place. And that was Nationals was in Reno, Nevada, I believe, Salt Lake City, Utah. And so after that,
wildly different cities. I don't know. Those two confused.
I was thinking
one's a little bit more of a party.
Nevada was the Junior Olympics. That was that.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. They all end up being the same though. You're just in the hotel. Everybody has to wake up early to make weight.
Yeah.
Coaches don't want to go with the fighters to go make weight.
Yeah.
So
that's fun.
Any bright memories from the amateur days, going to tournaments and things like that?
A lot of memories, man. Remember being at hotels, especially when I was young and I had older teammates, and they would call us go knocking on doors, running, like little stuff like that, just troubling stuff. Just a lot of memories, and met a lot of friends. Boxing was giving me a lot of opportunities, taking me to different places of the USA. I've been to Ohio, California, Nevada, Philadelphia. Just taking me all over the place. Kansas also, and I'm just grateful.
Have you been locally fighting mostly local shows here, or?
Since turning pro?
Yeah. Since turning pro, most of my fights have been in Ontario at the Thompson Doubletree. But I've also, because I'm signed with two promoters, Thompson and Banner. I've had a couple of fights on the East Coast. I fought in Washington, D.C., and I fought in...
At the Armory? Is that where you fought?
Yeah, the D.C. Armory, something like that. And then I also fought in Verona, New York, and at the MGM National Harbor over there. And so it was a good experience over there.
Any differences between the fans that you see on the West Coast and over there on the East Coast? You're probably not even paying attention.
Yeah, I can't.
The lights up.
Yeah, I can't tell.
Yeah.
I'm in the ring, listening to my coach, hearing the instructions, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. That makes
speaking of, like the whole pro game and the whole production behind it, go into your nickname a little bit. You're the West Texas Warrior, right?
Yeah, I was given this nickname by the famous referee known Lupe Contreras. He had it was just it just developed as my career went on. I guess I'm not the one to create a nickname for myself. I never seen that. It was just everybody called me by my name. But the West Texas Warrior fell into place by Lupe gave it to me, and I like it. And I am a true warrior. So from West Texas, and so I love it.
Yeah, I like that because too many kids will give themselves a name, and it kind of gets away from their traditional aspect of boxing, where you'd earn a nickname because a writer or because a coach or somebody would just, or fans would just catch on, and this one seems to have just caught on naturally. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've people ask me if I had a name, and I was like, dude, there's no name. Can you imagine? I mean.
You didn't have a name.
Oh, Gabacho Baracho? Yeah.
Gabacho Baracho.
El Gabacho Baracho is my nickname from time to time.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm still waiting to debut that in Mexico.
It was funny. That reminds me, actually, when I was a kid, growing up, I don't know why, I've never liked candy or anything, but me growing up as a kid, all of my teeth were cavities. I had nothing but silver teeth, and they were all caps. So everybody, I was growing up through elementary, probably like 2nd through 4th grade. I had caps, and they were all silver. My teeth were silver, so everybody would call me Platinum. And so, because I was small like this, I looked like I had a grill.
Grills were cool back then. Yeah, lucky,
especially
man.
50 Cent. That was during the time 50 Cent grills and everything. And so, especially my old barber, they used to call me Platinum. I thought that'd be my nickname, but I grew out of it.
Yeah, that's better. Mm-hmm. And luckily, your second teeth grew in.
Yeah,
because
that's
not
got white teeth.
Especially in boxing, you're not gonna look to have
Yeah.
People are gonna think you got your teeth knocked out.
Yeah.
In hockey, it's a badge of honor to have a missing tooth. In boxing, people look at you like
you have no defense.
What's going on? Yeah, what's wrong?
Yeah.
You're a catching glove right there.
Mm-hmm. Being such a big Cowboys fan, did you ever play football?
Oh yeah. I think that's why I'm such a big football fan. Also, I grew up actually football. Football was my first sport that that I loved. I grew up playing flag football, tackle football in Midland, and it was the 3rd or 4th grade. I was really good. I was running back, quarterback, played like all positions for the teams that I was on. And that's the story, or part of the story why I started boxing, because football, has an off season. And our season was over, and I wanted to stay in shape for the next season, so I got into boxing. Because my older brother, Junior Dutchover, used to box at Midtown Soldiers Boxing Club in Midland, and so I was like, let me try this out so he can keep me in shape for the season. And then so I started boxing, and boxing, there is no seasons.
There's no seasons.
Yeah, so
can you explain to the people about Friday Night Lights?
Friday Night Lights. Yeah. That's exactly where I'm from. If you hear Midland, hear about Midland, that's probably the only thing you've heard about is Friday Night Lights, and that's Odessa area, which is the Permian Basin, the Permian Panthers. There's the movie was made. Football's big in West Texas.
Yeah.
And the crosstown rivalries.
They probably had the most. I imagine they have one of the places that has the highest amount of an area that's produced NFL players.
Yeah. And,
Florida, that part of Texas, and California.
Yeah, a lot of talent there, and I went to.
So Odessa is one of the schools in your guys' conference.
They're actually a crosstown rivalries.
Okay.
I went to Midland High. Midland High. There's the Bulldogs. There's Midland, Lee Rebels, and the Premier Panthers is in Odessa, maybe 10, 15 minutes away from Midland. So football nights, Friday nights, everybody's at the stadium.
The whole city will shut down.
Yeah, it's true. We love football over there.
Yeah, I've been out in Texas for a couple of Friday nights, and it was just amazing.
Friday Night Lights.
Just to see everybody everybody stops what they're doing around 6:30. It seems like
Friday night at 6:30. You catch it. Everybody will be at the stadium.
Yeah,
that's the big thing.
Yeah, actually, that'd be kind of a cool venue for a return fight.
Yeah,
if you
actually would.
Depending on the month, it could work. As far as weather goes. Put a big boxing ring in the middle and have a big show.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
I'm trying to be a promoter. I've told you my dreams in this game. I'm trying to be a promoter. Maybe that's the move. Maybe a Friday night lights in Texas featuring Texas fighters.
That would. It all depends on the weather. Weather in West Texas is a lot different than here in Southern California. I'll tell you that.
Have you ever fought outdoors? You ever got?
Yeah.
Oh,
I fought outdoors.
Is Ontario? Do they have it? I remember Thompson Boxing used to have the Omega Complex.
Corona.
Yeah. Right. Because it's the same Thompson who owns, obviously Thompson Boxing, but the materials company he owns Omega Parts or whatever. Have you gotten to meet the guy? I've always been curious as someone who kind of entrepreneurial myself. I've been curious about Thompson and his companies that he owns. And
you
met the guy you talked to him
Kenny Thompson. Yeah. Oh yeah. Shout out to Kenny, man. Kenny Thompson. I've met him. He's a great guy too. Yeah. Great guy. I've talked to him. We've had conversations. The first day that I signed, I had met him and everybody, and just a great person, great individual.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. And I've actually always been curious. You are signed in a co-promotional deal with
Banner
Thompson and Banner. How does that work, and what's the nature of that deal? Do you owe some fights on the East Coast with them, or are Banner and Thompson always working together?
Yeah. They have a good friendship. Thompson and Banner. Banner Artie Palulo is the promoter from Banner. He's out of Philadelphia, and great individual as well. I've met him. So those are both of my promoters, and they've always had a good background and friendship with each other as promoters, and they have.
So they
fighters.
both were interested in signing you, and they said, let's just co-sign them.
Yeah.
2 promoters and 1.
And so I can get the best of both deals. Get recognized also on the East Coast, which I have been, because a couple of my fights have been over there, and just develop a bigger fan base. Not just in Southern California, also over there.
And do you have an agreement with how many fights they're going to give you a year? Do you have a
not on a yearly basis. Just me being with Thompson,
they're keeping you busy, which is great.
Yeah,
it keeps clipping them too, right?
Yeah.
So it depends how early he clips them.
Yeah.
Have you had to go the full? How many rounds are you worked up to right now?
Well, I've my past couple fights have been 8 rounders. I haven't gone past 6 rounds though.
Okay.
So I went the distance a couple of times, and I believe a 4 rounder and a 6 rounder.
Mm-hmm. What was the training different? Getting ready for an 8 rounder, knowing potentially you might, or?
Yeah. I mean, of course, every training camp, we train hard, and if I'm fighting 8 rounds, I'm sparring 10, so I can be
3 times a week, or?
Yeah. I'm fully prepared, if the distance is needed, I'm in condition to go.
As it coming up as a young fighter, were you already making those adjustments, knowing what's in sight, knowing that you're going to be in 8 rounders and 10 rounders and eventually 12 rounders?
To me, the experience, it just keeps growing, from, and that's why I'm blessed to have the trainer that I do, Danny Zamora. He knows how to progress fighters, and I went from started sparring 4 rounds to being fully conditioned for that. And it's you don't just jump up,
Right,
and so it's all in progression. So I've sparred 10 rounds straight before, and he knows what I'm capable of. But it was all in a learning experience,
For people that don't know, how many there's an assumption that everybody's resting for a minute. Mm-hmm. What are you resting for? Because Southern California.
Yeah, we don't rest for a minute. We rest for 30 seconds.
Right. Yeah.
That 30 seconds has always been our rest periods after rounds. and that's in the gym and sparring and everything basically.
Is that same? So we don't. I don't have any experience in Texas, but I've seen as small as 15 seconds or 30 seconds. It's pretty common too. Is that something you see in Texas too, or is it pretty much only in Southern California?
Me growing up, as I remember training, we rested for a full minute.
Yeah.
And over here, we don't rest 1 minute.
Yeah. This is I'm obviously being a Southern California trainer and seeing fighters that have come here from other places.
It's different.
It's different. Yeah.
It's different.
I've even seen the rounds get cranked up to 3 to 5. So having that mentality out here, which is the steel, sharpens steel.
Yeah.
So.
Or iron sharpens iron.
There we go. Iron sharpens iron. Yeah, that's what it is. So looking at it, wondering when you get out here, are you thinking, hey, these guys are crazy, or hey, I know why I'm out here. I'm out here to be a champ.
Yep. The hard work shows. That's why there's a lot of world champions being made over here. In the gym, and hard work pays off.
Yeah, I think for people that don't know about, you can be you probably can. On any given week, you might run across half a dozen world champs, or guys that
world all over the world.
Yeah, coming
down here in LA.
In the gyms over here. Yeah, you have guys coming from overseas. Training. Look at Triple G came over here. With his boxing bag, and that was it. And just at the side of the door.
Even meeting a guy like Peter Petrov, in Santa Fe Springs, where it's like there's a small camp, a couple of us working out, and it's like kids from, let's say it's you, me, and then we have, Darles, and then we have Peter Petrov. So we got Colombia, we got Russia / Spain. We got the whole world in this tiny little gym in Santa Fe Springs. It's pretty crazy how the boxing world converges here in Southern California.
You had the opportunity to get the Big Bear to train at all, or?
No, I haven't yet. But you never know. Just like last year, I got the call. Because after I had worked in Manny Robles' gym whenever he was training Oscar Valdez, I sparred him and a couple of times, and they liked my work, and I just got a call out of nowhere when he was training in Guadalajara. They're like, hey, we want this kid to be in our camp. And so you never know, I might get that call at any time, so now I'll be ready.
You're one of these fighters that stays in shape all year?
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, you got to, yeah. You just got to treat it like a full-time job. You see some of the guys out that aren't doing that, and they're not having the success.
Yeah, and it shows.
Yeah. I think in Southern California, too, particularly, if you're not staying in shape year-round, on any given day, on any given Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, you might run into some hard sparring, hard on your part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the Valdez camp and that experience? I didn't realize it was in Guadalajara.
Yeah, it was in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. And I spent 3-week camp. It was for his camp versus Quig, for that Quig fight, and it was a great experience for me. I was one of his top sparring partners for that camp, and I learned a lot. Training with the world champion, being in the camp, and not just sparring. Also working out with them.
How many times were you giving them sparring per week? Obviously,
I was sparring with them 3 days out of the week.
3 days out of the week. How many other boxers were there supplying sparring with?
There was actually a couple of boxers, but a couple of them sparred and didn't come back.
Split, yeah. So you're the only one.
Valdez was known for doing that to sparring partners, and
I've heard that's cool.
Yeah,
watching him. I used to watch him at the Rock when he was at the Rock, and God,
Yeah, he's relentless.
There's a reason why he's being so successful. So it's his mindset, temperament.
He's a hard worker, man. I learned a lot from on the mentally side of the game too. Just working hard.
Manny always has a constant stream of champions that he's working with, or contenders.
Great coach also.
Yeah.
I'm a ritual at his gym in Legends in Norwalk also, and he has a lot of great fighters that we work with, and we help each other get better.
I was over at Legends. I guess not last week, but the week prior to that.
Okay.
He had Prince Charles, the heavyweight that had a title.
Yeah.
From when they fought Glasgow, and then he also has Dominique Brazil. So
Still has him?
Yeah.
He has Terrell Goucher also.
Yeah, it's Terrell Goucher, who was a 2012 Olympian.
2000.
Is that
Who
owns that Legends gym? Is that Manny's gym, or is that a partner that
I believe
brought everyone over? from Carson to...
It's part of that complex because it's a complex facility. Legends Boxing is part of it. So, and Manny's the head trainer there.
Okay.
It's a beautiful facility.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, they got the small
2 ring. They got a strength and conditioning
area. Is it insane
fields.
to see a gym that is that? I mean, that's something. When I think about gyms specifically, I think it's probably the prettiest gym that I can think of in Southern California.
Yeah, it's nice and
and
great work.
It feels like that's a place. It feels like if something you would think of like an NBA training facility.
It feels like what people who don't know boxing would imagine world champions are training.
Yeah, it's the exact opposite of Azteca.
It's like a professional looking spot. Looks like
all right. Think of Azteca and then think of the opposite, and that's Legends.
Yeah.
So, but it's a beautiful facility.
So you have anything else you're looking forward to outside of boxing, or anything you want to let the viewers and listeners know about who Michael Dutchover is, and anything you want to say to people listening from Midland or from your extended family?
I'm just thank you for the support, and I'm committed to this right now, so I'm not even thinking about anything other than boxing. That's why I'm over here. Sacrificing time from family and friends and everybody back home. They support me, and I'm working hard to put on great performances and make a big name, a big splash. Boxing in Midland, Texas. And so I want to do that. Become a world champion, and then after that, give back to my community and what helped raise me, and just keep doing that. Just keep on keeping on like Joe Dirt.
Yeah.
After your career, you might be like Manny Pacquiao, go back and become a senator.
City council member of Midland.
I don't know about all that politics stuff, but I love giving back and having the feeling because
you've gotten some opportunities to do some.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Talk a little bit about that.
And also shout out to my sponsors at Everlast and Ernie Gabion. He's helped me a lot in my career, and I had the opportunity. I flew back home for the holidays last year, and I donated some boxing equipment, to the gym that I started boxing at. A lot of boxing bags, boxing gloves, just to give back and see the kids there, and be so happy to that a professional is coming back to the gym.
A guy like
Ernie
is an unspoken hero, huh?
Oh yeah,
he sponsors a gym that I work at in Long Beach, the Jackrabbits.
I call Ernie the plug of boxing. He's the main plug.
I don't think that he's getting enough love out there in the world.
Yeah,
he gets a lot of handle tags on Instagram.
Yeah, but I mean, he looks after all these young men.
He's a cool dude. I've met him a couple times at fights, and really cool guy. A friend of mine introduced me.
He takes care of his boxers, man.
We're very grateful at the gym at Jackrabbits in Long Beach. He helps out over there.
Oh yeah.
And Ernie is a man.
Doesn't get enough credit for what he does.
And when you went back to Texas, did you do any speaking at these
I've
classrooms or anything?
I've actually gone to some elementary schools, my old high school and junior highs, and just to be a voice for the community there. Letting people know that, especially coming from Midland, that you can make it to the big screens being from there. 'Cause a lot of kids don't think they can from coming from a small town that nobody knows about. But that just proves that anything, hard work, if you have a vision, you can go for it.
So it's not just the Friday Night Lights that you
it's
can
not just
aspire
Friday
for.
nights.
There's other opportunities out there beyond,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so, I feel like I'm pushed, and I'm living proof of that for my community. And that's why I love going back and talking, and people love hearing my story. My story starting up. I remember I told my elementary teacher whenever I was maybe like in fourth grade, I'm gonna be a professional boxer like Miguel Cotto.
That's awesome.
And I remember I wrote that on this paper. What do you want to be like when you're growing up? Now that I'm living it, I had that vision when I was in third grade, and still living it. And so.
Is she still teaching?
I believe she is. Yeah.
You should go see her.
Yeah. No, I actually did see her. My last time we went back.
That must have been an incredible feeling, right?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Talking to the kids, I was like, man.
I hope your mom kept the project on the mirror.
She did.
Magnet there.
Yeah.
That'll make for a great piece of B-roll on a Showtime special when you're fighting for your title.
Yeah.
Showing the kids background and whatnot. We showed the picture where he he said it was gonna happen.
Yeah,
You know,
and it did.
Are you inspiring? Obviously, being from Midland, Texas, and being that it's a small community, but with a lot of fighters, you inspiring fighters back home that want to follow your path and make it out to Southern California as well.
Yeah, and I believe I'm starting starting the thing of that of boxing in Midland, and because I go back and I see, and I've trained with a couple amateur fighters that are on the come up now, and it's just great to see that, because I remember being in that position, and I didn't have anybody to look up to, being and making it big, out of Midland, so I'm trying to be that role for those kids now. Every time I go back, we take pictures, work out, teach them some stuff that I know, and it's great.
Yeah, we're excited, man. I really do think that you might be the first guest that we have a future world champion. So we're excited for you, and we know all of Midland's behind you. Yep. Soon to be all of Brussels and Dallas.
Brussels, Belgium,
and
Dutchover
all the listeners of Boxing Podcast. So I want to thank you for coming on the show. It was exciting, and we'll keep the listeners aware of
what handles can they follow?
Yeah, we're gonna follow you.
Instagram, you can follow me at mdutchoverbox. Facebook, Michael Dutchover. Twitter, mdutchoverbox. And that's it. Follow me, and you'll see taking everybody along with the ride. The ride to becoming a world champion.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching the show. Please follow the show on Instagram at Boxing Podcast. You could also follow me. I'm Garrity McOsker on Instagram, and I'm Garrity on Twitter. And we show a lot of content for the show, and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Let your friends know about the show, and if you enjoyed it, pass it along. We'd love for our listeners in Midland to pass around this show and show this young champ some love. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.